For what feels like the millionth time within a few years span, Fortnite is entering its, biggest peak that it's probably ever had, beating its consistent records of beating those records, and I really don't understand it. But I do, but I don't. It's just a really weird thing to understand. With the release of Chapter 6 and Fortnite OG OG, which is Season 1, which was released all the way back in 2017 when the first game dropped, this has been a time for players to get back on the game if they've been away, while also giving those players that have been on the game since launch a new way to play. Now, there's been a lot of talk online whether or not Chapter 6 and Fortnite OG have actually saved the game or hurt it, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there is a stark contrast to what is going on in this game. Within the last month, we have been introduced to the brand new, vibrant Chapter 6 map, which takes a lot of Japanese culture and puts it into the game, while making it also fun to play with the special items like the Omni Mask or the swords or anything like that. This comes after the Chapter 2 remix, which a lot of people seem to have a lot of different opinions on. Whether that would be good or bad is up to you, but honestly, it was kind of underwhelming. The rappers, to see them back in the game was fun. Travis Scott not coming back but being included a little bit in the Ice Spice performance was, kind of annoying because people really want that skin. I already have it, so I don't care. And just the fact that we cannot go back to where we started with the old bosses and everything was remixed and things were kind of a little bit different was, it did put people off. It did beat records the first time it dropped, but it did kind of slow down a little bit, and you can kind of tell that Chapter 2 remix wasn't really the most ideal thing they could have done. But that's just my opinion. With Chapter 6, we're going back to a huge island with a ton of different stuff and a ton of different items that were kind of contrast to the guns and the weapons that we had in OG and Chapter 2. This, of course, being something that a lot of people like, because a lot of people like using new items. We've seen it in the past with Chapter 3 when the Spidey gloves came out. We saw it in Chapter 4 with the hammer, and Chapter 5, we got the Wreck season. I'm not really a fan of the Chapter 5, I'm not gonna lie. The map was fine, but the stuff in it, For Chapter 6 is kind of giving us a whole refreshing look on it with a new map, with kind of going back to an older style of graphics where it didn't look like it wasn't Fortnite. We're kind of back to it. But a lot of people don't want something that's like that. They don't want something that's over the top. They don't want something that has been giving them, overstimulation. They want something that's chill. If we look at Chapter 6, we are looking at a lot of things that people just do not understand. We're looking at the masks that give you these random powers, whether it's the void one where you can go far, the fire one where you can just throw fireballs at it, which has already been nerfed, by the way. We have the spirits, which are cute, but they do offer a lot of different, random stuff that people just, they just want to hate on that, which I don't get. I love the spirits. I love them. But nevertheless, this overstimulating vibrant map is something that players from 2017 don't really want. Now, I know what you're going to say, and don't even let me know. 2017 players are not who they're trying to reach. While that may be true since they've gotten older like myself, but I'm not f***ing old. It's still important for Fortnite as a business to understand that they need to bring those players back. They were here for one reason or another. They want them back. They want the most players that they can get back on the game. And whether that was with Fortnite OG or Chapter 6, they were going to do it. Now, people have the audacity to say that Fortnite OG coming back is ruining the game. It's going to take away from the launch of Chapter 6 since it only launched within a week of Chapter 6. But honestly, that wasn't the case. When we look at the release of Chapter 6, we saw record numbers again, which Fortnite has a record of doing for the last few years, while also breaking another record when OG came back out the second time around. Now, there are a ton of factors for this, and whether you like it or not, it is the case. With Fortnite OG, it's giving people a chance to go back to what made the game the game. It's going back to how the game started, it's going back to its roots, and it's just a way for players that have seen it online, have heard it talked about, have heard it hyped up from the nostalgia merchants like myself. It's a way to get those players back, and kind of being ignorant to that and saying that it's not doing that or that's not the purpose it's serving, that's on you, because the game is thriving even more because of it. Now, a lot of people do have criticisms of the first map, and we get it. It's bland. Look at what we have in Chapter 6 with all this stuff, all these cars, all these weapons, all these special weapons, compared to what we had in the first season ever, where it's just generic guns, a little bit of a simple terrain, as well as minimal POIs. I get it. It is dull right now, but the game is not dying off because of it. Going back to that simplistic design of this first season, that's what people want. They are reaching that audience of who played the game first that fizzled out once they started adding a lot of these random creative weapons and modifications to the game. If we look at Chapter 5 with the Wreck season, we saw a lot of people dip out because they were not fans of how overcomplicated it was and how you needed to use cars and how you needed that to get around to win. Because you did. If you had a car in that season, you were winning the game. All you had to do was hit somebody, hit the buildings, you had the boost, you had the mods on it, it, it's not fun. Going back to this OG map where everything's leveled out, it takes a lot more skill if you're playing build mode because of sweats, and I don't mess with the sweats. All respect to you, but I do not fuck with the sweats. This little bit of extra competition gives players what they want. It gives players an incentive to play because it's not as easy. Along with bringing back the old graphics, like when the weapons drop and the little shine that they have on that, whether it's the OG windscreen or whether it's the little icons that are going back to the OG style, like the burst, which a lot of people complain about when OG originally dropped and came back last year. The big thing that it's doing is bringing back that nostalgia of playing the map. It's bringing back those people that want to go back to that map but never could. It was different than what we got last year in 2023 because that was just a map from Chapter 1. Even evolving over time, it didn't even hit those other seasons that we visited. It kind of remixed it like we saw with Chapter 2. And a lot of people wanted to just go back to see how it was. And whether they wanted to go back and go to Loot Lake and not be able to swim, that's on them, considering we can sprint, mantle, and all that. I'm not rocking with that. If we can't swim, just take it all out. Take us all the way back. I'm gonna be completely honest. Call me a nostalgia merchant. I'm right. But along with that, we look at the player base coming back, and they are the older player base. We look at the streamers like Ninja playing with the OG duos and OG squads. We look at me coming back and playing that more, not all the time because I do enjoy Chapter 6, but I am playing OG season a little bit more. And you're bringing back that older generation that can share with the new generation. I coach a team of kids born in 2016 to 2018. I was playing this game longer than they've been alive, and they're playing it now, which is unreal. But regardless of that, they're experiencing what we experience, and that's what Fortnite's aiming to do. Now, that doesn't even mention that they're bringing back popular skins, but remixed. And I know in season 1 we didn't have a battle pass, but they remixed skins that were popular, like the Renegade Raider and the Skull Trooper. That's kind of cool when you look at it, considering you do have to get the battle pass, but it does give you a look at those skins that were popular back in the day and gives you a new version of it. I think they're sick. Whether you want to buy them or not, that's up to you, but I do think they're sick. Along with that, they have already explained that throughout the year we are going to hit each season, and if you think it's dull now, Fortnite knows what it's doing. Fortnite really blew up in Chapter 1 Season 3. That's when we got tilted all the other name POIs. That's when we got a lot of players blowing up and playing it. That's where we got a lot of the guns that people like, a lot of the items. Chapter 1 Season 3, when it comes out in March or around that area, Chapter 6 is not gonna be successful. That might be a hot take, but if you look at the OG version that came out last year, and not even being in that specific season and getting that many players, that's exactly what's going to happen. Being able to go back to that original map where everything started to go right for Fortnite and started to blow up for the game, that's where people are going to play. When all that stuff, all the more weapons, all the more items, all the more shields, everything becoming more vast with a lot more POIs, and just a more simple map is gonna bring the game back. It's gonna be OG Fortnite, not Chapter 6 Fortnite. Whether you agree with me or not, we know that's the case. Considering how slow the new chapters have been moving, where we have small seasons, we only have 4 a year, and that they don't really like to give us that many changes, just collaborations throughout the season, it's gonna happen. Now, the bigger point to prove here is that Fortnite is moving into a Roblox kind of scenario, which I've even talked about in the past. They are bringing a lot more to the game, which is what is keeping players around. Some players want that overstimulating kind of new creative way to play in Chapter 6. Some of us want that OG way that's more simplistic, and some of us want both. Some of us also want the creative maps where we can play a horror map or a cypher run or anything above, or a prop hunt, gun game. See, there's tons. I sounded like a loser doing that. But to make the blanket statement that Fortnite is dying out is just completely wrong and out of the realm of possibilities, because we're seeing their records break every single time they release a major update. Now with the creative engine and creative 2.0, all these creative maps that I've been playing and want to make videos on, bringing back OG, where we also have a way to get away from the overstimulating stuff while also going to Fortnite Chapter 6 to play that stuff and playing with the creative weapons and all that. It's giving something to everybody. Fortnite won't be dying out anytime soon. As long as they create these kinds of opportunities in their market, they're not going anywhere. Now, keeping OG Fortnite 1-to-1 about how it was when it was out, that could not have been a better decision. We saw it through the OG season where things were different. People weren't really rocking with the changes later on when we got to the later season where they didn't bring back certain POIs, which is understandable. And now that we have the opportunity to go 1-for-1, bringing back old graphics that they used in Season 1, bringing them all the way through Season X, bringing up all these POIs, bringing up ways to play like ranked, earning money, or playing zero build, or having some of the mechanics from the game like mantling and sprinting in it. That's what people want. They're quality of life updates to the first season, but it's also an escape from having to play one specific mode, and having that ranked mode in OG is going to be huge. Now, that Fortnite growth doesn't even begin to talk about the 5v5 mode, which is a whole separate video, but that shows you, along with Lego, Rocket Racing, and the music festival, that Fortnite's looking to add as much as they can. They're looking to add as many opportunities for you to play the game while also creating ways for you to play the game, since creative allows creators to put their maps into the game. It also allows them to edit and make money off of those, which is just a bigger opportunity. It's not going anywhere. If anything, we're seeing the same path where Fortnite started to slow, hit a major high, maybe stalled a little bit or went down a little bit, but like Roblox, hit that massive boom with all these maps, all these creativeness. They're gonna be fun. You don't have to worry about Fortnite dying out. It's just not gonna happen with the millions of players that play every single day, not even talking about the most hyped OG seasons or weapons yet. It's gonna be fine. And OG being back in the game is far from hurting it. It honestly might actually have saved it, because if we had stuck with Chapter 6 after we were stuck with Chapter 5 and people really disliking it for the most part, the game might have taken a hit. But now that we have options, we're seeing new game modes with first-person shooters come out. We're good. We're good. We don't got to worry about it. But just know Epic knows what they're doing. They know how to reach every single market that they need and how to improve this game, and actually, whether you like it or not, are improving it for you. Now, whether they need to nerf some things or buff some things, that's fine. Have those opinions, because they need to touch a little bit of that, like the shields in OG. They got to higher that drop rate. Like, that's insane. I'm walking around with 2 big pots for the entire game, and that's it. But whether you think they're going to do that for Chapter 6 or any other mode, that's fine. But don't think that it's going to die out because of bringing the nostalgia merchants back like myself. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm looking to make more videos, so please let me know what I want to do down below. Whether it's more long story style videos, whether it's creative maps, or whether it's just the regular 5v5 mode, I'm down for anything. But if you have your suggestions, leave them in the comments. And until next time, I will see you all later. Peace.